Welcome and good evening to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live. Hi, by the keeping the hot air balloon tonight. As always, I have Neindorf.
How we doing?
Doing good. Neindorf, what's new in your world?
I don't know. I tell you what, this podcast, I feel like I can maybe take it a little easier. I'm not running for score here.
Sorry, I just had
After,
the robot vacuum turn on in the background and had to
yeah,
go
no worries.
run to turn it off.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, yeah, I'm not having to try to win this round of a podcast. I feel like I can relax a little bit after being around with Sargent there. That's a little stressful at times.
Oh yeah, boy, wasn't that fantastic? That was so much fun. Huge shout out to Sargent for organizing it and for
Tons of
everyone
fun.
who participated. Gosh, I mean, we had some smart guys out there.
In getting into those deep dives and then as he calls them the hot takes, I think that's what people really want to hear because you can kind of chase out some kind of random information that sometimes I think people don't even really realize that they know when you put them on the spot and you throw them in with a bunch of other experts.
Right, right. Well, let's kick things off with question of the day. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so what's the best airdrop you've ever got?
That's pretty easy now that I got a Gen 0 airdrop. So,
Oh boy, a little
um,
foreshadowing.
yeah, pretty excited. Today we're going to do a lot of Gen 0 talks. I want to present to you some questions or some theories on what I'm looking at and stick with the theme of Gen 0s right now. They're feeling hot. I know in our Discord, Holdel for Life, he just got his first Gen 0. He's been in the game for 14 months and he popped a legendary Legionnaire, I believe it was, out of his
Yep,
crystal today. So big congrats to
and it was
him.
pure DR1 legendary or legionnaire.
Yeah, that's epic. So, that you can't say a much better example than I know that happened to Matty Pesk as well. For guys who have been playing the game for a long time, grinding this game, like I mean, there is some luck involved, yes, but if you stick with it long enough, there are a lot of opportunities to win Gen 0s or other significant assets out there. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. And if you're a newcomer, just stay with it, keep to the grindstone, and keep going.
Yeah, and I think there's opportunities like that all around. I mean, it's maybe a little bit of smaller opportunity, but I think there might be a Fight Club tournament coming up, hosted by, or sorry, sponsored by the Perilous Pirates, and this is a free entry tournament, guys. Get in there. There's a few spots left. I entered in, but if I see that it's getting close to the 64 man roster, I'll probably bow out because I want to get some of the community members in there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for shouting that out. Big thanks to the Perilous guys for sponsoring that. And that's a great opportunity to get some killer prizes at the end. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and again, free entry. So go have fun. Go do some competitive combat with your heroes. These assets that we've been painstakingly leveling up and trying to pour our hard-earned cash into. Speaking of which, I have a Gen 0 level up for a more recent Gen 0 that joined my stable. The most recent one, I do not know if it has an atonement. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have an atonement crystal because we'll see that on the ADFK website. Um, so I'm dropping an atonement crystal, greater atonement crystal on all the Gen 0s that I have. I have a few extra atonement crystals that I swooped up. Gosh, when did they get airdropped? It was about a month ago now. So
Yeah, it's been a while ago. I had to get rid of a lot of mine to liquidate, but I'm still holding a few for a couple of those, higher tier heroes that are floating around. But yeah, everybody, they are getting more rare, so keep an eye on.
yeah, so I'm getting JSON errors for some reason. Okay. Um, so I'll switch networks quick and see if this fixes it. So I'm definitely popping the Greater Atonement Crystal, and even though this hero's level 11, in the scheme of things, I will have, nine more levels to go, and you're at least guaranteed two stats out of this. The extra percentage points over the course of those 90 levels, or in this case, 89 levels. I don't know what's that equal. 9 points? No.
Yeah, I think it's I think if you do it at the beginning, you end up with at least another level up's worth of stats, probably maybe
Yeah.
even a little more to counter some bad level ups you might have.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a free level, I would say, in the scheme of things.
Yeah. So I'm getting a little less than that since I'm 10% of the way to 100, but
Sure.
might as well take advantage of it with the Gen Zeros for sure. I've had some good fortune with some of my Gen Zeros with really nice matching alignments with that secondary bonus and where that stat point has gone. So we'll see with the Archer here. So I have a new strategy. Take some time to talk you through the strategy, which will then lead into which stats I'm selecting, and then we'll lead right into a Gen Zero summon, and then we'll pop the new Gen Zero crystal at the end of the night. So my new Gen Zero strategy that I've been working on now that abilities are confirmed and we're starting to gain some momentum around understanding what their power is. I feel like, and it's really hot on the marketplace right now. A lot of people are summoning for those the traits, the active one, active two, passive one, passive two, and trying to get those mutations inside the traits as they level up their heroes or as they summon their heroes together. And what I'm actually going for is kind of like a super D-gen next level deep layer of this. And so I have one pair of Gen Zeros that are DR1. Like, for example, I have a warrior and I have a knight. They're both DR1. And so they have that high percentage chance of turning into a paladin. And they have two matching stats. And I thought, man, I hit Nirvana. This is the way to go. This is the epitome of summoning. And now that we've gotten more into the traits and we're starting to understand, that value of resurrection and of what's the other one called? Second life. Is that right?
Yep, that
Uh,
sounds right.
so now I have this new strategy that I'm going to throw at you.
All right.
And so instead of taking DR1s that can mutate into the first advanced class, this is like super degen level, all right? I'm taking two DR1 Gen Zeros that are both archers. And
Okay.
I'm trying to make super Gen 1 10 out of 10 pure archers. And by pure, I mean that DR1. So I have two archers that match together, and I'll show them on screen in a little bit, that end up creating a 10 out of 10 archer with three traits that mutate. And I've
Ah,
hit that once where I've had the all three mutate at the same time. And a lot of my level ups, I have at least one of the traits mutate, and then they're 10 out of 10. And then so
right.
the ideal here then is, all right. So I took the time to mutate the stats first, and now what I'm going to have to look for, and I don't have this collected yet. I have them identified, and I'm trying to find the users out there to trade me their thieves. But I want to go find a DR1 Gen two DR1 Gen 0 thieves that I can summon together and make, the ultimate DR1 thief pair. And then those super archers and those super thieves can summon together. And hopefully, I'm going for an elite stat. And if they're both DR1, then you have a really high percentage chance of getting advanced class with elite. So it's like, I don't know if it's galaxy brain or I don't know if it's totally crazy and not worth anything. So that's my harebrained and degen strategy. What do you think on that?
I think it makes a lot of sense. Honestly, it's a long setup, and it's one of those that you have to be patient for, and you got to have some deep pockets if you're going to be buying four DR1s. I don't know if you've seen pure prices lately are getting closer to,
Yeah.
I want to say, $3,500, $4,000 a piece, probably. So you got to have some pockets now. The DR1 Gen Zeros are not easy to come by these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that I swooped up a few Gen Zeros when we had a Gen Zero dip in the market, and now I'm trying to. I think that's how I'm going to finance my thieves if I can get the ones that I really want. Is I'll be trading my other Gen Zeros and trying to trade up into this strategy because yeah, I can't keep pouring in the outside cash for this, as you know.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
So now, what I want to talk through briefly is what are the right stats to level up for Gen Zeros? And I think we all need to be thinking about the long game on this, especially when you have DR1 Gen Zeros. And I think you need to be thinking about like what is the offspring that you're going to create, and then maybe even like the offspring. Gen Zeros, I believe, are going to continue to become more valuable as we climb in levels because they will scale with the game as it escalates. Remember those the summoning tiers that you can put towards boosting the stats. You can continue to boost your stats all the way up to level 100 with your Gen Zero. And so I have a pair of a knight and a warrior, and I'm feeling like really the stat that I need to focus on, and I was focusing on strength because that's where their level ups were primarily going. But now I'm trying to switch over to vitality because if I'm gonna always be summoning them together, not doing this super strategy, I'm going to be making a lot of paladins. And what do I want out of my paladin the most? I want endurance and I want vitality and then strength. But I think vitality actually will be the most broken of those stats. And so I'm actually going to focus on vitality for that warrior and the knight. It just so happens that vitality works pretty well for that class as well. So what do you
So,
think that stat is for archers?
well, I mean, so yeah, playing out your strategy. If I was kind of a little short-sighted and just thinking of an archer, you're thinking dexterity, right?
Right.
But the problem is if you're trying to build, you know, Dark Knight machines, dexterity and Dark Knights don't really go along with it a whole lot.
No,
So
they don't.
I feel like archers and endurance aren't really that big. I think you kind of almost have to lean strength. I don't know. It's it's kind of a hard call. I mean, you could build endurance archers. I just don't know if in the actual game if that's going to be a useful feature. And I don't
I
know. What do you? I think it'll be interesting to see how endurance plays in more. I feel like endurance is going to be an underrated skill when once more details come out. Personally.
Yeah, and they were talking about endurance on the AMA this week, right? And so endurance is going to be that stat that helps you protect against debuffs. Like that is the primary protection against debuffs. That your endurance will, you'll do some kind of check style roll, and if you're successful, you will get none of that debuff that's coming your way. And there's a lot of debuffs out there. So um, I see vibes in chat saying luck or dex or vitality for the archer. Luck is the path for archers. And so that's what I'm trying to like wrap around in my mind is like, am I with these archers, am I trying to make, super archers or am I trying to make the Dark Knights?
Right. It's very different, honestly. I mean, like I said, luck, I don't know that luck and a Dark Knight really mean a whole lot. Maybe they do. I mean, luck has a small part in every hero. Um, Obviously, vitality, I feel like can benefit most heroes. So, yeah, that's probably another solid play. The trick's
Yeah.
going to be I don't know that you're going to be able to make vitality or luck outpace dexterity as an archer.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're talking about your Gen Zero summons and you're adding tiers, so
You
the
gotta
level
you
five
gotta
boost
commit
is the
with the
primary
crystals
stat,
too.
right?
Yeah.
So what happens? So level 10, you start to get a percentage boost, not a stat. What is level 15? Do you remember? I don't have any level 15 heroes, so I can't remember offhand
I
what
don't have any
15 is.
level 15s either, and that's a good question. I should have had that up
I,
and
I would
ready
have
for
the
this.
docs open, but the docs are doing this page thing again where it's like SSL error, so I can't even look at the dev team's docs anymore. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up and I'm getting just web errors. So maybe someone in chat, if they know what the level 15 summon boost is with tiers, let us know.
Yeah. So
But I don't see how you're going to make luck or vitality outpace dex. So
I I
your options are limited.
I hear you, and I'm thinking, and I'm agreeing with Mean Machine here, who says strength because that
Yeah,
will play well
that's
for both the archers and for the Dark Knights, and then with this hero as well, I got blue strength. And so, I mean, it just when I'm looking at,
that's
20
natural.
22.75% as my secondary, and 57% for the primary, I feel like if I get a greater crystal on that, um, you're getting a pretty decent chance of getting a 3 for quite often.
Yeah.
Now, to your point though, what do you select for your secondary stat bonuses? Like, do you skimp on dex or
Intentionally, if that's
intentionally,
what you're trying to build.
if that's what you're trying to build, and try to just build a super well-rounded hero? Do I I was actually like surprised with how strong endurance is for archers. And then in the abilities, I remember there really wasn't anything that was dependent on endurance. There was luck, and I see some people in chat saying luck, so that might be what I'm going with as one of the secondary options. So let's see what the chat says here. I'm gonna pull that up. What should I select for the secondary option? If I go with strength, I'm sticking with what Mean Machine says. All right.
Yeah,
Bob Nothing says 15 is another +1 stat. Is that +1 to primary, or is it +1 to the second most important stat? Do you remember?
yeah, I feel like stacking it all in one doesn't give you much choice, but I think that's the simplest implementation.
Yeah.
So I just can't remember offhand. But yeah, I mean, I like what your setup is here. Strength and luck makes sense to me. And honestly, you're low enough level that a couple points in vitality probably don't hurt you any.
Right.
Um, I think you're still low enough levels, like we've all kind of seen, that you maxing your vitality in the first 10, 20 levels is probably going to pay dividends too. But
Yeah.
um,
So Wowie's saying by 100, level 100, the tier boost will get you +20 to a stat and +20 to the growth. Holy moly. I think I got to go with strength. I think I got to get that up there to try to. And then, like, at that point, I might switch my strategy from trying to make super archers to making super dark knights and trying to find
right.
that mutation. Um, and we have a whole nother podcast lined up for you guys that we're not going to get into it tonight. But I want to talk about like overall game strategy. Maybe we bring Wowie on for this. Um, and we had a quick conversation this afternoon, so I'll preview it and then we'll move on. But we're talking about what is the most important aspect, kind of a conversation that you guys had on your podcast with Sargent. What are, there's stats, there's rarity, there's class, there's pets, there's equipment, there's abilities, which are the traits, and there's the synergy of the abilities that you get in your skill tree. What's most important, and which leg of that stool is going to be what we want to focus on? What's maybe overvalued right now in the marketplace? So that's my preview to. I'm really excited about that conversation. We've been kind of thinking behind the scenes on this one.
We got to make sure we make that not be a 2 hour podcast because it's very likely to get that long.
Yeah, it might be. Oh, I see Workhorse is in the chat too. How you doing, Workhorse? Um, and then actually I dropped a question to Workhorse and to Hubert in the PvP discussion this afternoon that will ultimately play in. I love to get an answer to that question that will play into that podcast. And my question is, how long will PvP games last? 3v3. How many turns is that battle going to be? I think once we answer that question, we're going to. I think we could start to, and this is a little reckless, but we could start to use some of that information to discern, how important of a role will those advanced abilities play. For example, if you have a game that's going to last 100 turns and take a really long time, those advanced abilities or traits, excuse me, they won't mean as much. That's just one of the turns. But if the games go a little faster, they might be more important. But then there's an opportunity cost. Like, could you be using your other skills? So I'm really looking forward to and hoping that I get an answer from that question.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. Fight Club has really kind of helped us think of these problems or these moral, these conundrums of gameplay earlier than we actually have with the real DFK game. Because if you think about it, we talked about this. We've talked about how Baby Cup games last a certain long,
Yeah,
and that way there's some skills that matter. I've played a lot of Baby Cup games where I don't even get to a full meter and it's over, and I've either won or lost.
and it's Dunzo.
Yep. And so I think the real game is going to have a very similar problem. Now, I don't know, I would call it problem, a similar aspect to consider when building your team. So, it seems like a very innocent question to ask of the developers, but actually has some pretty big ramifications.
Absolutely. Okay, so I don't know where I'm gonna go with this. I think I might grab Vitality. Um, okay, so
What's the
Bob,
health setting at? Can you do flip it around again?
yeah, let me
Level
pretty
11.
pretty low. That's getting some lousy level ups, I'd say, on health.
Yeah, I mean
But I
they're a
don't know
squishier character.
because yeah, archers. Yeah, that's right. You get each of the classes has a different ratio for leveling up. Like some for their greater health level ups, it's like vitality times two, right? And then some it's
Right.
vitality times 1.5, and then some it's just plus vitality. So we'll see. I am feeling a little squishy right now. Um, okay, yeah. So strength, vitality, luck. It feels weird trying to dodge the dexterity. I don't know, man. Um, I think I'm gonna have to just grab the dex and then hope that over the course of 100 levels, using a greater crystal of strength, that I can outpace it.
Right. And I think another important thing is there are probably going to be few, if any, Gen Zeros that are actually PvP heroes. Like that's not really what they're for.
There for
So,
summoning, yeah.
yeah, keep that in mind too, that you might be making a goofy hero, but this hero is only his only job in life is to make more heroes.
So maybe I shouldn't
So,
have even gone with dex. Okay. Oh, I did. All right, so we got 20 seconds here, and you know what I should have done? I should have looked at it. Looked at the stats to see where the stat points go. That's the one thing I don't like about a greater crystal is you kind of got to hunt and peck for that. Although it'll look like the way that it'll show up on the ADFK website is it'll look like a tier boost. Is that right?
right. Yep, yeah. That's just kind of I just never really fixed it. And I think people understood what was happening. And so yeah, you're right. And you could go pull the page up right now before you finish the level up if you really wanted to. And you could get that data. But you're right in the sense that it'll basically jump out as
Oh,
orange.
it's already here. Look what I got. I got that vitality and I got endurance. So not
All right, that's not bad.
not disappointed with that for an archer. That endurance is
Basically,
something that I get already, and yeah,
yeah, you dodged intelligence and wisdom, which is what you wanted.
yeah. Ooh, and that was a tough level up.
It was.
um, yeah, not a lot on strength. Whiffed on the
Wow.
dex. +3 on vitality then. And not a lot of health gain. I can't remember what I was before. Oh yeah, right here. Wow, 40. That must be the small, right?
That's for an archer, it might not be, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, so I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not
Six
my
points
favorite.
is 6 points. Yep.
Yeah, not my favorite level up of all time. But again, like you just said, we're trying to make we're working towards that strength monster for Dark Knight someday. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump over to the portal now, and I will show you guys the pair that I've been working on right here. So I'm almost leveled up with this level 8 and this level 11. Here now doing the guy's tears boost, of course. And you know what, I am grabbing decks right now for these that I'm making because I'm making pure archers, so why not?
So how many tier boosts are you using?
I can use the 2 tier boosts over here on my level 10 and 1 tier boost on my level 8.
So I just asked the question because, in my opinion, I don't even think the second one is worth it.
Oh,
I
interesting.
I've been doing that with some heroes, level 10 heroes, unless you're going for like monster sages or something or dread knights. That extra 1% in the cost, if you're going to sell these heroes, doesn't buy you anything. I've noticed.
Interesting. And now that
So
tiers are
basically,
actually getting really expensive,
and rare.
before I was just slapping on those tiers. Now I'm
Yep,
actually crying. It's slapping in real life tears.
that's right. So just something to consider.
Oh, I love that. I love that. See, yeah, don't just go clicking buttons like me all the time. Uh oh.
Oh, it didn't infuse the first time. See, you could have undone it. No,
Oh,
just
see,
kidding.
yeah. Let's see if I can. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
but oh yeah, it's up. I want to see some purple. You got a 2% chance there. Let's see that purple.
Yeah, I was trading some summons with Bob Nothing, and I felt pretty bad that I hit everything on, on my summons try, and he got pretty hard rugged on his.
You've had a pretty good string of luck. That's great. When you string it together like that, it can really make a difference.
All right, so I have a chance to go back and let me reject this. I had a lot of MetaMask pop-ups
Yeah.
coming on.
When it says you want to approve these 8 transactions, you're like, wait a minute.
Wait. All right, let me jump over to YouTube while we're waiting. All right. Keep in mind that iOS code saying keep in mind at level 100, the second and the third highest stats also play into summoning bonuses too. Bob Nothing says, "Oh, the Warrior's up for rent if you want to go for another mythic." Yeah, I hit a mythic knight with the advanced ability. I was like, "All right, let's go."
Wow, that's awesome.
Okay, why is this not going? Yeah, I think Mr. Zipper knew I was botting the other day when there was a lot of user error with the Nightdorf bot going on earlier this week.
It was listing and delisting one of your heroes on the tavern constantly. Basically, every loop it would kind of do an undo if you
Two
poke
of
it
my
the
two
wrong
of my
way.
heroes.
Was it two of
It
them?
was two of them. Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. It
Yeah,
was.
I should probably fix that someday.
I just I'm been manually selling them. They go pretty quick. I've been pricing to sell. So if you're interested in these like super archers, hit me up. Especially for friends of the podcast. Not looking to make a killing on this. Just like to pay it forward a little bit. I mean, I'll definitely want to go for market value, but
I,
if you want a slight deal, let me know.
I had one the other day that was, for all intents and purposes, a rug, except for it had butterfly wings as a Gen 1, 10 out of 10. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that I didn't see that coming. So I was like, you know what? Now maybe I need to find a pair for it. Look at you
Oh,
go.
all right, all right. Look at that, 16 in Earth. That's a decent hero. Got that boost in strength here. Got the blue
Mm-hmm.
boost. Speed. I missed on the abilities, but that's all right. I got
As a
gold.
legendary man,
I
yeah.
got gold, so I'm in the gold and pure. So it came through.
Dang,
All
pure
right.
legendary. That's solid. What was the profession? I couldn't read that.
Fishing
That ain't bad.
with the luck boost. I'll take that. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. I'll probably send him off to the tavern. I like this. What do they call the head?
Like a circlet or something.
Yeah, that's what a Fey circlet.
Yep.
It's hot. I have this on my archer. It's on my legendary archer. I really like it. Proud Cleaver.
Oh yeah.
Egenborg Proud Cleaver. Okay, so let's do the Gen 0 pop.
Heck yeah. What are you feeling? What would you like to see?
Man, I have not done a lot of summons with scholars or legionnaires. I think I'd probably lean more towards a scholar being inside my ethos. So we'll see what I get.
Yeah, and I would say, as having that scholar, I've definitely been renting random other classes. Ooh,
That's a
there it
scholar.
is.
Got it. Got it.
Sure did.
All
Because
right.
the rent for scholars and legionnaires has been really high. So I've been like going for abilities and, just kind of all around heroes. as
Yeah.
opposed to um,
All right. I'm feeling
like a
better than
bard.
an uncommon. Better than an uncommon right now.
I think you're probably gonna. I think you could hit that.
All
I'd
right.
love to
Let's
see you
go.
get an uncommon
All right.
Scholar Legionnaire.
Scholar Legionnaire. Got that water.
Let's see what we got here. Wisdom and intelligence. Look at that.
That's hot.
That's
That's
the
really
best
hot.
gene mix. Now let's
Yeah.
do your recessives. Let's see. Do you got any pureness going on?
All right. Let's look at the growth percentages. That Legionnaire secondary. I don't know if I love it, but we'll move on. We'll move on. All right. So we got Poison Blade, Blinding Wind, Stalwart, and Headstrong.
I need to read those again. I still am not used to all these abilities.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have Wowie or Matty Pesk level brain yet, where I can just kind of rip them off. All right. No
Wow. And you
way.
get another pure.
No
And man,
way. Ooh.
PR1 Scholar.
Wow. Wow. Let's go. Oh man. Feeling good about that. Um
A $3,500 hero, sir.
yeah, I might all right, looking to trade him in for the pure thief that I'm looking for now. So,
There you have it.
yeah. Wow. If you got a pure thief out there, hit me up. We got a trade going on. So, okay. Although a pure scholar with these boosts, I don't know. What do you think?
That's the solid hero. Yeah, I hear
I
you.
mean, that's like if you're trying to make other future scholars wow. Wow. And what do they so what's the advanced abilities or the advanced traits for the bard are what again? Like what are their highest stat growths?
Oh boy, let me pull one up. So we are looking at their highest is dexterity, and then it's agility, and then you kind of get down into luck and wisdom. Those are the above 50 percenters.
Okay. So wisdom having that on there.
Wisdom isn't is that's not a bad one, absolutely.
Zebu says, "May I interest you in a pure legionnaire?"
Ooh, he does have one. I've done some summoning with him. Had some decent luck. We
Yeah.
may or may not have had a few potatoes between the two
Go
of us.
yeah, go subscribe to Zebu. He just started his channel up here, so drop it in the chat, Zebu. Okay, yeah, I'm stoked. This is good. Wow, I feeling fortunate. I think it was the S jewel actually, not the summons, because I did not have a lot of summons. I think it was the S jewel that I won it on.
Ah, yeah. I mean, that's one of those that I think snuck up on some people too. When there wasn't as many people weren't actively chasing that one as much, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Vibe saying, my advice is to learn all the basic abilities, have an idea which ones are ideal. Yes, we need to catch up. Um, I think that's awesome. Okay, well this is awesome. What else do you want to talk about tonight?
Did you have on your agenda there anything else? I see you got game speculation listed. What are you feeling there?
I mean, that was kind of the preview to the next podcast where we're
Ah,
talking
yes.
through um, what we're hoping to talk, get an answer from Workhorse and from Hubert on a length of game and what's going to be most important. So we could maybe touch on this a little bit, and maybe let's turn it to our audience and say, all right, what do you think is going to be most valuable? So here are the legs of the stool. You have the synergy of the skill tree of your three heroes. Like so, you probably don't want to have um, you know, three archers on a team. That's it. I don't think it'll work, and if it does, they'll probably balance that out where it doesn't work. And so you have that as one leg of the stool. You have stat points, which I would encourage everyone to think about rarity and advanced classes as ultimately the stat growth of a hero. It's like that's one leg of the stool. And stones and crystals play into that, of course. You
Right.
have the traits that are on the back of the card that we need to go memorize, like Vibe said. And then you have equipment, which is pets and I don't know if you want to call pets like their own leg of the stool, or if you want to call the helm and the sword and that other standard equipment. Uh, but maybe for the sake of this early argument, we'll just call that one leg of the stool. So those items, like what's going to be most important? So YouTube listeners, what do you got for us?
And keep thinking if you don't have it now. I mean, I know we've got some more homework to do before our next cast.
Yeah, yeah, really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and, I guess I'm curious. I haven't had a chance to catch up on the latest AMA yet. Do we have any idea or any speculation, reckless speculation, hopefully, on what the next release is going to have in it coming next week?
It sounds like they're working towards power ups, and I'm thinking that level 10 quests aren't ready yet, but we keep talking about that a little bit. Um, so Maddie's saying that the all archer team is new meta. Okay, so good thing I'm making lots of archers.
I'm curious to see how pet boosts are going to apply. I was kind of wildly speculating, and this probably isn't the case, but I think it would be kind of funny if mythic pets required mythic food. Uh, so like they only will accept Shimmer Skin and Swift Thistle versus the common pets will eat bloaters and ragweed.
Yeah,
uh, I was joking with somebody about that. That was pretty funny.
yeah,
Obviously,
that
not
is.
likely to be true, but it's just kind of sometimes it's kind of fun to think of those goofy scenarios.
So Vibes is saying I think traits and abilities will be most important. Um, and then Mean Machine saying genes, which would be traits and abilities. Most important is early levels. Stats more important at end levels. Hmm, okay, I like
You
I
know,
like that take.
do you know what I hope the most important leg of the stool is?
What's that?
Honestly, user skill.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah. There you
actually
go.
hope that you can outplay someone who has better heroes than you if you have the right skill and maybe a little luck in your choices.
Yeah,
That to me is worth $1 million.
and there's yeah. Do you put that in the skill of the skill tree? Like, because there's two um, ways that you interject your player skill. It's pre-game, which is actually building the right match of your
Yep.
heroes, nice synergy, protecting against the meta, trying to be mentally prepared for what's coming your way. And then there's the in-game skill, which is actually
The
like selecting the right moves at the right time.
yeah, the poker match. You got your poker face on. Are you bluffing and are you leading them to think that they're winning? Yeah, that's kind of where I feel like um, I really hope this game shines because there's a lot of monster heroes being dark summoned. I would really say I'm a little disappointed in how dark summoning has kind of watered the pool of monster heroes. There's a lot of monster heroes now.
There's a lot of
It
monsters
used to
out
be
there.
very difficult to make monsters,
Yeah.
and it's a little easier now. So I'm a little disappointed by that, but at the same time, I do hope, and I think that the balance will be there, and I think skill will, in fact, be able to prevail.
Yeah. All right. Wowie saying weapons. So he's really pumping the equipment side of things. Hubert dropped, and quoting Wowie here, Hubert dropped that all the abilities and traits that are based off of basic attack and basic skill are calculated from the equipped weapon and stat scaling. Yeah, and he also I've actually been talking to him one on one about this as I've been trying to scale up Fight Club damage as something, and I actually asked him. I was like, "How are you guys?" This is a hard problem to solve with health being a exponential scaling variable. So I was like, "How are you solving this?" And I think what they're going to have actually, and this now is speculation. What Wowie said is what he told me, And my guess is the way that they're going to make weapons scale as heroes grow over time is weapons will have level caps on them, or thresholds. And so you can use this. Level cap isn't the right way. It's more like minimum level
Floor.
requirement. Level floor. So like you can't use this cleaver until you hit level 20. And then once you hit level 20, it will have better percentage damage scaling, which will allow you to attack those higher health heroes. I think that's the way that they're going to have to do it.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty natural. I think you see that in a lot of games. People are kind of used to it, and it's something that, if you have I think you almost have to do it, especially now that we own these items and you can't do um, kind of some of the more sketchy things that other, non-blockchain games that do, where no, that hero is actually locked to this character and you can't pass it around. Well, in a blockchain game, I can pass it to my level one hero. So, you have to. Level caps are almost a must, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You don't want the sword of a thousand truths in the hand of a.
In the hands of a noob. Best episode of South Park of all time.
Uh,
So what do? We play the game.
that's right.
Um. All right. And oh man, we got Aphex in the channel tonight too. Gosh, all right. So you guys are like dropping hot chat. It sounds like everyone is going to love this conversation. So, you know what? Maybe we need to do this. Maybe we need to copy the new Sergeant Filthy McNasty style podcast, trademark Sergeant, and do a more of an open mic night podcast on this. And all right, so we're gonna do it, and we're going to have, maybe 3 to 5 people come on, and we are going to talk about the legs of the stool, so to speak. Neindorf and I will like kind of lay out the groundwork. I have 4 legs of the stool. I saw somewhere else Maddie said 3 legs of the stool, so maybe that'll be like the first question. Um, we got to work through this. So I'm really excited. I think the chat's gonna love this too.
Yeah, I got to do a little bit of research and kind of collect my thoughts on this. Like I'm a little scatterbrained at the moment, thinking of various ways that you can group and organize things. So I got to come prepared here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Like usual, we managed to stretch a 15-minute podcast into 45 minutes. And we'll stretch an hour-long
Perfect.
podcast into 2 hours. We always do. So, Neindorf has not catched up on. He hasn't watched any episodes of Vox Machina. And so, yeah, go yell at him in chat. That's what I'm doing later tonight. I got to summon some heroes, maybe do some rentals, and watch some episodes here. So, yeah, let's have a good night. Thank you for the support. I feel like all the credit goes out to the good vibes the community brought me to get that pure. So appreciate the love, fam.